clockwise of the revolving doors to the questions we ask every introduction, introspective, introvert. He's the embodiment of offering us possibilities of exposure, but to keep the true feelings hidden. The Benjamins within the lineup of presidents drawing parallels to lining up white presidents, rocking the boat of business and rolling up with the punches to dive into the rule of the blacklisted, bawling out with strings attached. When we're the faces of being down, sleeping with the fishes, getting hooked into what was being presented instead of actually thinking about what's really represented. He's the cue to bawl our eyes out knowing that what we need's the advantage he always wants. Trying to stick to the code of the higher-ups that created the burdens of success, endless taunts. To have power over the work that resides on any platform to rewrite history and the narratives are spun more. Like he's trying to cheat death, wanting a life demolishing others that he could call his home. What sells is exactly that, to excel in this habitat for sailing across the seas, making deals for wealth. To be combated is to prepare for the lashing out thrown back to push against the sudden attacks. But what's to be expected is that he has a decent heart, to see the issues for what they are and not dismissing the best parts. To better grasp the understanding of the gaps from start, to finish with a win that could heal these scars. But the wounds are unforgettable, and at times unforgivable that it takes time to mend the bond. But if not, then the ties are severed and discarded. Hold up. I mean disregarded, that without the true support system of people around him, that's what it means to be lonely at the top. Because being built from the bottom, these borders would keep that common sense out. Community is supposed to be at the forefront, so why he fronting? It's one thing to get with the times, yet the quota to profit for status has been the hostile takeover. The king's speech and the queen's gambit is nonstop. These branches that we've been speaking of, and this tree sitting underneath the shade of the leaves from family drama, day ones, taxes, bills, government stacks, every payment made, and every handout to get grips in the machine cycle. The push and pull of the debates that determines the next life ahead or the setbacks reestablish. The fruits of the labor. How can he manage to juggle all these problems and prospects from the data and paper? An overload of accessible criteria to cater while trying to open up to savor. The very hope that he's really taking chances on acknowledging the prism of the algorithm, that what it does is trying to get us to buy into the manufactured fabric instead of knitting the cloth. Easier said, but harder to get done. Hard work rarely gets noticed, yet simple words makes more of the easy targets. For demos after demos to count millions of eyes watching for promos. He knows this. At this point, he'd be bled dry. Left to die only to have the contras and rumors be the defibrillators to help him revive. These headlines provided those extra charges needed to survive. But what he doesn't realize is how multiplying the lack of awareness gains a stronger divide. Trying to be the mediator reduces the interest in research to do our brains a favor in making up our minds on our own terms. Making the decisions for us to learn if we want to earn for being carried in an urn or being buried with the goodbyes that we deserve. But living right now asks, which one comes first? His only concern, only worry, is that he's integral to the overall packaged schemes of painting the coated surfaces with graffiti art, of the logos and slogans filling up the brick canvases and then some. More deals, more sales, more merch, more franchises, more mergers, more bails, more perks that became his bread and butter to keep spreading love through violence and invasion. He uses these tactics to devour and take bites away from the rest of us trying to eat out here. That's why the last resort becomes our first heart of ports. So it ain't even about the integrity. It's about the next breakdown to follow up from being bored. Which one's worse, the gift or the curse? Seems like it's been the latter, now it's looked at in reverse. That the gifted lay out their cursive in verses that sounded like plays aiming for mental hearses. While curses have always been played out as the nemesis, edited to keep censoring the mature resistance of content, even when the antics get the most attention. It ain't really the most cruel intentions, though he knows this as well. He sees that a versus competition can contribute to the well-respected, education for the blessing, and more to shower off second guesses. What makes it fun is allowing the catalog to do all the talking. He ain't really a hero trying to present himself as one. Creating these problems so he can look like the savior, carrying with him too much pride. How about taking action for once in his life? He knows that the truth is the bright spot to shining a light on the very thing he is. Sure, he can wear a personified suit and tie, but that ain't covering up the agendas hidden on the inside.